to protect your soul.
Let's creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. With crimson secrets and forbidden bliss, can't stay still, don't stop that breath. My bones crave your skin, temptation within, mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Straight to the start of intoxicating wines. Flickering touch, decide what's whispered in my head. Set my heart
And hopefully we're live. Hello guys, how are you doing? It's your boy G-Max. We are here for another round of Dominus gaming and another round of sim racing during this isolation period. I am joined as always by my homies Angelus and Spandex Cobra.
Hello, hello. And
What's up? What's up?
Noisy Richard, jeez.
Eddie, please just tell him not to do that into the microphone again. Like we did this in practice. he did this.
Like manners, Richard. We spoke about this.
Yes, I know. I'm so sorry.
He's really not that sorry. But anyway, so we're here for Spa. It's round 8. It's going to be a cracker of a race because, Spa, one of my favorite circuits, probably one of the greatest racing circuits in the world, arguably the best.
What I love about Spa is I honestly believe it doesn't matter which car you take here. It's such a long, varied track that every car's strong points and weaknesses come out somewhere on the track.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. It's pretty balanced all around. I mean, Eau Rouge and Radio, that's there to just make sure that people maintain their respect for the track.
But you
of
stopped
Spa.
calling it Rogue.
Rogue and Radillion.
Okay, cool.
I've maybe grown up a little bit. Yeah, I've maybe grown up a little bit from there.
I thought about it earlier. This, I think, is a little bit of an anniversary stream for the three of us. I think Spa was the first race we commentated on as a trio.
I think
It was.
I think you could be right. So we might have got better. We might be more rubbish, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not about us. It's really about the racing. And we've got like 4 minutes left of practice to go on our side. So let's see if we've got. Standings wise, we know that Bruno is already dominating things. He's up at the top. We knew that.
90-some change in the lead, eh?
Jason Absmeyer in second place. I think that third and fourth have changed up a little bit. I've got a little standing screen that will roll through when we go to the stream.
I think Etienne Kleb jumped Albertine for third.
Yeah. And I think,
separated by 3 points.
I think Basson even dropped down from the last race. Well, he was sitting quite high up. He also dropped down.
Into fifth.
Or fifth, yeah.
Fifth.
So unfortunate there. I just want to go over to our overlay here. Well, not really overlay. Just go over to the racing screen and pull up some of the stuff and things that are happening or that is happening there. Get some sound into ACC. Currently looking at Bruno Cadhill. He's kind of changed up the Silverback Racing livery a little bit here, and I quite like the change, to be honest. That blue looking rather hot. Let's see if we can. There you go. Pull up the proper broadcasting screen as Bruno shows off his brand new livery to us all. And I said I liked it. Richard, you?
I'm quite partial here. Looking around, it's quite a fetching livery, this one. So I'm a big fan.
Eddie? You can't. I know you're an orange fan. It could have been the other way around.
I'm a blue fan, but my personal screen is of such low quality that what you call orange looks pink on my screen, and I think that makes the car look even better.
It's orange, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing orange.
Okay.
Seeing a pinkish.
It's going to be like that that dress where people couldn't see the right color there. So it's definitely orange on my side. So I don't know what you're saying. Towards the end of practice here, we've only got. If you look at the top, it says 22 hours. That's not true. We've only got 2 minutes left of quali here. Our race director / co-caster Eddie is in contact with the drivers. He's let them know that we will be moving on to quali at 8 o'clock sharp. So with a minute to go, it looks like Jason Absmeyer comfortably sitting in the pits. He's done a 2:20.2. I don't really want to go through too many times here because it's not important. But what is quite cool is that Victor de Kock is up on that tower, and we haven't seen him for a while. He's had a bit of problems with his PC or his internet, whatever it was. But he's back, and his Audi is here. He's just been jumped up in practice by Bruno Cadhill, a name that we have seen again here. But great to see Victor back and fighting towards the top, even if it's practice, even if people are sandbagging. I know that this man can bring fire, and fire will be brought. So nice to see him up there. Etienne Kleb, he's in the top 5. Albertine in 5th place there. Strauss, he's sitting down in 8th place at the moment in that Lamborghini. Not an easy car to pilot around Spa, so it is the only Lamborghini racing here tonight. Where is our favorite resident Porsche Grey Richie? I was a bit biased there. I said favorite. We've got a couple of Porsches, but the Senna Racing Porsche's got kind of iconic colors. I don't know how I'm going to get myself out of calling this my favorite one. We do have other Porsches here as well. There's Menards in the pits, so you know, the bright Nicki Minaj colored Porsche not going to be featured on the track here, and that's maybe what we will use as the excuse for not choosing it as our favorite. But
Hey, we're going to quali.
we're going to go over to quali. I need to change up my cameras here quickly.
Green light, go, go.
Because they like to bug out. So we just go here, we go drive again. Then we're back to our regular point of view. You guys can still see everything on the Discord side of things,
yes.
right? Okay.
Yep.
So we are
The
looking
great
at Jason.
improvement on the previous system we had.
Yes.
Yeah, so Jason Absmeyer are going to probably be one of the first. It looks like he is the first to exit the pits. Look how long these pits are at Spa. I mean, we can talk about that. If you're getting a drive through here, prepare yourself to drive for eternity. There's obviously the double row of pit boxes. This is the second set. The grid can house, I think, 80, 90 cars. I mean, I'm not even sure. I would be wrong. I would be lying.
At
But
least
I've seen-
64.
I mean, I've seen 85 cars here before, so Jason going to be getting out of that long pit stop or pit exit. Look at the bunch of cars starting to line themselves out to exit out of the pits here. Nice little helicopter view to capture them exiting together. And pretty soon that's going to space out as the guys give themselves room towards the end of the lap to space out. I mean, for now, they might tuck and try and just warm up their tires or just save their fuel if they're running quali fuel loads. But it's going to be a great race here today. I'm excited. Let's not go to a chase cam of anyone. Let's ride on board with Stefan de Vet, I believe it is, in his Bentley Continental. A car that we've driven here before, all of us, I think. I mean,
Good ship Oakley.
Big ship Berkeley, very good at Spa, nice and comfortable. Feels good through the difficult Eau Rouge, and to be honest, it's so big and bulky over the curbs. It's happy over the curbs as well. So I think that was Victor.
car.
I think that was Victor de Kock. That's on the back of.
There's the cock
Kevin
and there's
de
R8.
Vet. Yeah,
That is the cock, correct.
yeah, that bright green RH. Not going to miss it. So I'm just going to put on driver name tags. That makes it easier for everybody to follow along what is happening on track when we are looking at cars. A nice little stream of cars coming down. We can feature through. We can look at Strauss is in his Lamborghini again. Beautiful livery. I know that it's been chosen a couple of times by some viewers in the stream as one of their favorite looking cars. Not an easy car to drive around, but definitely a beautiful car to look at. What other cars? We can go
I
over
enjoy
to
the Lamborghini. Like you've got to drive the hell out of the car or it will just crash. It's like having a temperamental young puppy. It's a lot of fun, but it will bite.
Another car that's also quite fun to drive would be this Mercedes. Joubert driving around. He's done a great job in his first season at Dominus Gaming, finding himself, I believe, within the top 10 at the moment.
16th at the moment.
Top 20. Okay, 16th.
8th, well, mind you, he hasn't done a lap yet, but yeah, in the actual standing, 16th. And another one of those guys that I suspect will just keep jumping up the leaderboard because he has attended and pretty much finished every single race in this league.
Yeah, you know, that's what's important in league racing is that participation, making sure that you do attend, make sure that you finish as good as you can. But being there and being, you know, at the end of a race is just so important. And just racking up the points that you can. And he did join late, so, you know, next season there's always more points to be made. We're going to just follow along with Jason Absmeyer for a little bit, just because he is obviously now en route to be the first timed lap out on the circuit.
You've been driving the Lexus again lately. How have you been enjoying it?
I do enjoy it. I've never really hated it. It's a little bit understeery, but to me it's a pretty fun car. It's a bit harsh on tires. You have to be a little bit careful with that in longer stint races, but it's a nice car. It's getting a little bit out of hand for Jason. Yeah, I think that hot track conditions are not going to favor cars that eat through tires. So the hotter the track, the more difficult cars become. Obviously, in the first couple of laps, it's probably just getting tires up to warmth and up to temperature. But after that, they might be overinflated. Absolutely no idea. We just guess as we watch him come through towards the bus stop in the next couple of seconds, which will be the end of his lap, really. So let's see what he does, see what he puts on the board. Obviously, was top of the pyramid in
Bathurst, eh?
Practice.
Well, in practice here, he's going to do a
It's a
220.6 to start off with, which is respectable. Know that he can go faster. Know that he can find some more out of that. I know that Cadiel's also going to be someone to keep an eye out when they come around. We get to start seeing some of the times coming up on the board. At the moment, Kleb's done a 220.7, which is just a tenth off of Absmeyer. We see a 221.5 from Buerta. Everybody else kind of dropping down on the pace there, but this is just the first lap out time lap out for qualifying. It's obviously going to get a little bit better. No point in judging any of the driver performances.
Tell you what, Sean Lawrence is on a flyer of a lap. He's just gone through Eau Rouge without any issue. He's 2 tenths up on his best time. Just ahead of him, Stefan de Vet. Well, pretty much half a second up on his own time. Both of them looking to jump out of the 6th and 7th where they are stuck at the moment.
Shout out to Casimir for the follow. Thanks very much, brother. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to our viewers. Thanks for the followers and subs. Really appreciate it. Glad that you guys could come out and enjoy some sim racing with us. We're currently on board with Lawrence. He's currently a second up on his previous lap time. So for now, let's hang around with Lawrence, see how he can do. We see that Cadiel's topped the charts with a 220.2 off camera. We'll jump between the pole position fight out after we've watched a couple of these laps.
Albertine also up there with a 220.39.
Very, very nice coming in there from Albertine.
As well as we could see a faster lap from Corne Strauss. He's half a second up on his personal as well.
Yeah, so currently Lawrence up by a second. This man, Stefan de Vet, up by 0.6. This man up by half a second, Corne Strauss. So all three of these drivers currently up on their lap times. If we can just get a follow camera around there. Let's see where Lawrence is coming up to. So Lawrence coming round.
De Vet will be the first one to cross the line.
I just have to apologize to all our viewers for my beautiful dubstep, but Chris Hasty for the subscription. Thanks very much. So let's see where Lawrence is up. He's 1.1 seconds up. Make that 1 second up on his time, and he's going to cross the line, but I think he had invalidated it. So that's really why our Delta was showing his lap time so to be so good at that time. Cadiel is up by a tenth though, and he's currently done a 220.2. So we'll make that a 3 tenths up on his lap time as he comes through this sequence of corners. Obviously a lot of flow and control required through here. You don't want to brake too much and scrub off too much speed, and through this part you just want to get onto the power and try and follow through as much as you can. It's all about the pace towards the end of the lap. He is a tenth up as he makes his way again through one of the most scary corners. You're just flat out throwing the car around and riding the curb, not trying to invalidate your lap, trying to keep it in the lines down to the bus stop where you're slamming on the anchors. And he's made up another half a second on his lap time. Bruno Cadiel on a flyer of a lap here. He's going to go with a 219.8. So the 220s have been broken open. The
Louis
219s
Fisser
are
is
there.
also on a stonker at the moment.
He is. He's currently half a second up on his lap. Also coming through to that fast
Banchemont.
last part of the circuit. Banchemont will be the true
Such a
test.
fun corner.
It is. He's half a second up so far. He's stuck it. He's maintained the half a second. Let's see what he does down to bus stop. He's actually found another tenth coming through. Thumbs on the brakes. He's found another tenth. He's up by 7 tenths on his previous lap time. Make that 8 tenths. Fisser also with a brilliant lap coming round. Going to jump himself up, is he? And he does to 6th place.
21s.
Yeah,
Sub 21.
2:20.9 for Louis Visser.
Slightly disappointed. Werner Joubert looking like he was having quite a solid lap there and must have scrubbed some real speed because the 6/10 that he was up is now down to just 2. So that's a bit of an
Up
unfortunate
is
one.
up.
Up is up, but yeah, it was looking like he was, as you were saying, going to be on an absolute stonker there.
So Etienne Kleb, he's up by 2/10 on his time. But what's important here is to just look at 1st to 5th, currently within a second of each other, which is quite great to see. Everybody starting to dial in their times. Normally we just see the top 1 or 2 separated by those kind of differentials. So for now, 1st to 5th, just a second between them. More dubstep as Menno Havalar subscribes. Thank you so much for the subscription. Dubstep for the masses.
I'm hoping that, well, we spoke about this earlier, but Jason in his Lexus might be eating through a lot of tires on a warm day like that today, but he must be happy for once that we have a mandatory pit stop so he can get some fresh tires on halfway through and balance the playing field a little bit.
For sure. I mean, you guys can just jump back to the pits for me and just go and tell me what the track temperatures and things are. I mean, we can also see it at the top here. So currently it's 31 degrees and the track is sitting at 39 degrees. So it's getting hot. It's definitely cracking on. We are sitting at 11:30 with clear conditions here on a Friday in Belgium. So
About to say,
ironically, it's only going to get hotter tomorrow. Kleb 0.3 up on his previous time. 4/10 up, half a second up. Kleb
still jumping to 4th.
Oh, he's lost a bit on the exit. Scrubbed some time. Lost another 10th out. He's jumped to 3rd. So he's found 3rd place. Now, can Jason Absmeyer respond to anything that's happened out here? There's 3 minutes left to go. Jason Absmeyer, 2nd in the championship, finds himself in 4th. Bruno Cadhill, our championship leader, finds himself on pole position. And like I said, 3 minutes on the clock left for these guys to go and set some times. Down at the bottom of the order, we see Noah Hendricks in 13th. He's 4/10 up on his previous lap time, which of course will jump him up a couple of starting positions. That Ferrari looking nice and dialed in. I do like the satin red finish on it. You know that I'm a color scheme fan, a fan of liveries on cars in general.
How many times must we
kinda
tell
does it
you?
for me.
Red is the lightest, thus the fastest color.
How many times must I tell you that you're talking nonsense? It may bode well here because Noah Hendricks is 1.1 seconds up. So although you're selling nonsense to the viewers, he is still up on his time. I mean, he mounts the curb on exit there and finds another 3:10. So he'd obviously done something completely wrong previously. Noah Hendricks leaving himself some space to make up some time. This is going to be a very, very interesting end to quali because I don't know that Jason Absmeyer is going to be able to get himself
He's
up
got
there.
1 lap left that he can do. He's thrown the lap he's on currently away.
Oh,
Yes.
well away.
Yeah, but he's got 1 shot left. Then quali is over.
And he's currently got to jump himself up from 4th. So let's see where Noah Hendricks goes. Currently in 14th, going to jump himself up to 10th place. Noah Hendricks, what a cracker of a lap. 2:20.2 from the man in the Ferrari for SRC Racing. Number 10 on the score sheet. Going to do celebratory pirouettes on the exit of T2.
Jason just started his last qualifying lap.
No pressure on to Jason here. I
Really,
think it is worth following.
2 up after the first corner. Oh, man. there.
Yeah, he's going to scrub some things. He's also going to be careful because Bruno is currently 2/10 up on his time. And of course, he's at a 2:19.8. So that would put him in the 2:19.7s or 6 ranges, which is definitely way off of Jason's 2:20.6.
Jason's thrown it. He's invalidated his lap coming through a rouge.
Oh, he's upset. He's
Went wide at the top of the hill.
He's lost it and not going to be able to contest this. So Bruno Cadhill, he can still fight things away. I mean, he can still just blister down and we can see what kind of lap times he's going to set for us. Cornet Strauss, he's up on his lap time. He's currently starting 9th, so he might be able to do something. He's currently a 10th up on his time. Victor de Kock, he's a 10th up on his time as well. So currently a couple of guys going up on their times. I think worth noting.
Joubert also might have a fast one coming. He's lost a little bit of time through the first corner.
But Bruno Cadiel, he's 3/10 up, coming through into bus stop now. What a crazy lap coming out from Bruno. Let's see what he crosses the line with here. Will be a 2:19.392. Absolute beautiful lap coming out.
That's filthy. That's a
that is quite
second
filthy.
clear of second place.
Yeah,
Almost
it's,
to the 1,000th.
I wanted
Second clear.
I wanted to say first to fifth separated by a second, but Bruno going to go and absolutely ruin that. And this is going to be our starting lineup. It will be, let's pull up the timetables here. Cadiel will take pole. Franco Albertine second. Etienne Kleb in third. Jason Absmeyer in fourth. Victor de Kock in fifth. Thanks, JC, for the subscription in the middle of my run through. Sixth for Louis Visser. Seventh for Stark Buerta.
We still have one
Eighth
car out on
will
track,
be
mind you.
Christos Besson. Is he up on his time?
JK Minor, he is flirting with being up on his time.
He is. I see he's dabbling around. We'll have to just wait and see until the final second, you know, until the fat lady sings.
If he keeps this 0.2 gap, he can jump Joubert for 15th.
Oh,
But
he's found
he's
half
thrown
a
it.
second.
Thrown
Found
it.
half a second. Oh, he's
Oh,
He invalidated it
That's very
coming
invalid
through
now.
Blanchimont.
yeah. He did
So-
he did not feel comfortable at the end there, and unfortunately, that will be the
I
end.
think that is our qualifying, gents.
It is
It is.
qualifying.
It's done. It's a happy time. It's time to go over to.
The race.
It is time to go over to the race. Let's see what the grid goes forward. There we go. It has. Let me just make sure that I can get my cameras correct. There we go. Happy times. Got our onboards. Got our pit lane cameras. Oh, I don't even know what camera angle I found here. I'm just going to leave it. It's kind of like floating down the back of the pit wall.
It's just one of these cameramen who's had a little bit too much of the vino, and he's just making his way down.
That's quite interesting, really. I don't even know what we've achieved there, but
Yeah, I quite like that.
yeah, we'll change it up a little bit. So, yeah, we can bring up the starting grid once again. Bruno Cadiel will take first position. It's taking pole. Franco Alberta in second. Etienne Kleb third. Jason Absmeyer fourth. Victor de Kock in fifth. Louis Visser in sixth. Stark Buerta in seventh. Christos Besson in eighth. Corne Strauss takes ninth. Noah Hendricks is 10th, rounding up the top 10 starters. Stefan de Vet 11th. Sebo Meloto 12th. Sean Lawrence 13th. Gray Ritchie 14th. Vanna Joubert 15th. JK Menard 16th. 17th will be Vivian Richards. And starting from the back tonight, our favorite Mozambican, Thiago Paulo, will make sure to capitalize off what could be a interesting start to the race. Obviously, Eau Rouge and Radio are on the cards with cold tires on the opening lap. We want everybody to take things easy. We are super strict with the rulings when it comes to how people drive here. And of course, if you are caught to be misbehaving,
Transgressing.
yeah, well, if you're just caught to be misbehaving, we will punish you for that, and you will get drive-throughs, and you will get qualifying bans. There are repercussions to everything that happens. So,
Get going on the
Off they
formation
go.
lap. 18 people, 7 kilometers, 19 corners, 1 hour of racing.
we hope that we have a great start to the race, of course. We hope that we do not have to call for a restart. We obviously will be monitoring the grid, and if more than 50% of the grid is impacted by something, we do have the ability to just restart things up. Of course, they can't do that in real life racing. It is a little benefit of ours. They have to call out a red flag sometimes and maybe not even start the race again. So We urge that no one does cause something like that because our stewards will look into it after the race. But for now, Bruno leads things away down the Kemmel Straight, following the built-in formation lap sequence. So drivers controlled by those settings, and I'm just excited for today's race. We've got a long night ahead of us. I mean, it's just an hour, but an hour at Spa feels like, you know, it could be eternity for drivers here tonight. I mean, that clock will just tick down so slowly. It's not somewhere to be underestimated. The amount of times that you can just throw it away in the closing sections of the race because you haven't concentrated, or you've had a momentary lapse of judgment. And this is one of those unforgiving circuits.
I only just realized we've got amped to race team members in second and third.
Well, that is a good point.
Very, very interesting first corner coming our way.
Yeah.
So there was some love for amped to race in the chat earlier, like, hell, at least I have one fan watching.
Yeah, so those blue, white and red liveries, Aston Martins, the boys from Amped to Race, for those to keep an eye out on. I think, should we pop up some driver names for the start? I think it's nicer to try and follow along with some of the things. Our Helicam obviously doesn't have that, but we can go and watch some Helicam footage of the starting sequence.
Last time we had a league race here, turn 1 went well and all got lost going through Eau Rouge the first time. So hopefully everyone is on their best behavior and is as warm as they can get, and everyone remembers that the fuel tank is full.
Yeah. Well, you were speaking earlier of our anniversary stream. Do you remember the collision that we had in Project Cars 2 that night? Where people ended up in, like, another dimension, basically, from the impacts.
We have come a long way from there, and
We have
now got what is one of the pinnacles of GT3 racing when it comes to sim games, which is Assetto Corsa Competizione. Really beautiful to have a look at as a spectator, great to drive, feels great, sounds great, and gives us a really nice platform to really host these things. Their viewing tools hopefully will get a little bit more work and love, but from what they've given us, it's given us the ability to track along and host some streams without having to pan through cameras using an onboard keyboard and mouse. For now, I think we've done well, boys. We've upgraded. We've come a long way. We've got a great pool of drivers as they come down to bus stop for the end of their formation lap. Drivers will start forming up in 2x2.
Rolling starts are actually so much more stressful than they need to be.
Yes.
Rolling starts are most definitely stressful, so everybody just trying to come through cleanly. We see all our cars lining up down the starting grid. Cadiel up at the front, just waiting for the lights to go green. Of course, the long starts, you've got the built up for 85 cars. They'll line up along for the second time down the. Look how many pit boxes there are for cars to really start you. I would love to do a local big grid event.
Oh, yeah.
We definitely have to look at doing that. So down they come, down the hill.
Keep an eye further down the field.
60 k's an hour. They'll lead in. I think I need to take some driver names off because we're not going to be able to see the cars as they roar down. We're waiting now. Green lights to go, and we're live and racing
start from
down.
Jason Absmeyer.
Oh, he's just jumped through. He's jumped himself up to second place, sleeping on the start. It looked like the Amped Race boy is not expecting that at all. Jason Absmeyer flies on through, gets himself up to second. It will be Bruno Cadiel to lead things away. Jason Absmeyer in second. Is that Albertine in third, or is that Kleb? It's Kleb in third. Going to go up the inside for the first chicane. He's got the slipstream. He's gone deep, though, and he's going to go very, very deep, causing himself to run wide. Jason Absmeyer going to capitalize off that again. And Kleb pushing too hard early on, going to be punished for that. And again, Cadiel going to run away a little bit. Both boys from Amterrace still chasing along. It will be Victor de Kock in 5th place. He's tucked up behind Franco Albertine there, trying to do the work to get on by. He's got 2 teammates to work through. And obviously just the opening start to the race at the moment. So settling in, trying to find a place to move on by. Down the pack a little bit, Christos Besson, he leads the next train of cars. He's currently holding down 6th place. Behind him, Louis Visser in his Swift Motorsport Ferrari, with Noah Hendricks in his Ferrari just behind. And behind them, there's a little battle going down. That will be Stark Buerta with Gray Ritchie? Yeah, Ritchie on the outside with the Porsche. Wilson himself on the inside. There's been a little tap. He helps him back round again. Strauss has run into that as well. Strauss coming back on, but there was a little bit of tappy tap that went down. Stark Buerta have been sent off. Strauss is going to recover, I think. He's dropped down the order as well. Not a good start for Strauss at all. He's dropped all the way down, unfortunately for him. Not going to start off incident free. Looking back up, the big winners there, it looked like Malorto got through. That's going to be teammates Malorto and Minar behind him. So number 11 for Malorto.
Both lost out to Gray Ritchie, who from the mid-pack is probably the biggest winner out of lap 1.
Yeah, I mean, Ritchie was the cause also to that incident with Buerta, who then didn't stop. I mean, they tapped together. I'm not sure whose it was. I mean, Ritchie wanted to go to the stewards. Feels like it wasn't his fault, otherwise he would have slowed down. But really, Malorto and Manar, they've kept themselves in this together. They can work with each other.
Porsches abreast, how's that?
I mean, that's just a beautiful sight. I would not want to see anything different. Sparhawk 9597 with the follow. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting our sim racing journey here. Up at the top, look at Etienne Kleb. He's got by Jason Absmeyer again. I'm not quite sure where they got that done, but Jason Absmeyer is going to drop it down to 3rd. Currently looking at Kleb, who's managed to get himself away from the 2nd place holder in the championship, which will be Jason Absmeyer.
Report to you that Kleb managed to get past Jason around the outside of T1.
Outside of T1?
Yeah. It was quite a move, but you'll have to jump back more than a minute to see it.
No, it's a little bit too far for us. We'll have to wait and see, highlight video on YouTube to get to see the pass being done. 56 minutes of racing, and just behind them, Victor de Kock and Franco Albertine, they look like they're going to have a fight on their hands. I'm going to go to a little onboard view from the inside of Victor's Lamborghini and Audi, sorry, almost. I mean, it is Lamborghini powered, or Lambo is Audi powered, whatever. They share the same engine. It's definitely the Audi motor in the Lamborghini, though. Victor de Kock was chasing down. Albertine was pretty close to him, coming through that fast double right-hander, and now going to close down that Delta once again. This little train of cars forming in front, a gap of course, but now in the slipstream, the Kock going to try and see if he can do something.
A bit further down, we've got Sean Lawrence building up on Vanna Joubert.
And Corne Strauss is also able to claw himself up 3 positions there, so he's obviously worked a little bit of magic.
So Lawrence here definitely got some traffic in front of him that could benefit this battle for Joubert.
We jumped just a little bit forward from there. Guy Ritchie and, Malorto is trying to chase down Ritchie, and they're basically at the head of this little 12th to 13th, 14th train.
So let's follow the back of Gray Ritchie's Porsche as Sebo Malorto chases down the hill. They go through Eau Rouge, up through Radior, and back onto the Kemmel Straits. It's going to be a good run coming out from Gray Ritchie. He's not going to be troubled too much from Malorto at this point. Malorto, of course, chasing down Gray Ritchie up in front now as they come through the chicane. Obviously, slowing the car down, keeping it stable. You don't want to scrub too much speed, but at the same time, You don't want to carry too much and throw it all away. So Malotho trying to settle in for pace. Richie up in front. The battle between Albertine and De Kock continues. I mean, these two are ruthlessly fighting it out. De Kock with a great exit there. Again, going to be able to tuck into the slip of Albertine coming through the double right-hander. And De Kock really does look comfortable tonight in the Audi so far. I haven't really seen too many Audi boys featured in the series, and De Kock here looking quite dashing and splashing in the green and black. As we see Albert, well, that was Absmeyer going
drifting
very
there,
drifty in front of Albertine. He's trying to catch up to Kleb, and just a train of cars fighting it out at the moment. And this is what we want to see. So from 2nd to 5th, the cars are all within reach of each other. Oh, sorry, I say that Kleb is.
Yeah, he's pulled a 3.5 second gap on Kleb, and Kleb's got his own 3.5 second gap on Jason, Albertine, and De Kock fighting down the road.
Yeah, so
at the moment, nobody's got an answer for Bruno. The closest man to it is Kleb, but nobody's got an answer for Kleb.
And it's going to be Victor De Kock running out wide there at the bus stop, managing to keep it on the track, but he's now lost a lot of time, and he's going to be hassled now by Visser on his tail for Swift Motorsports in that Ferrari. And Visser with obviously a great exit coming out of the bus stop chicane down the first part of the straight, coming into T2. Whose exit is better. It looks like a little bit of tire squiggle from Visser. Going to compromise his exit. Going to lose a little bit of that gap to De Kock in front of him. But it all comes down to how they take this next two sequence of corners. And Visser making very massive uses of the track limits. I'm not sure if he got warned, but woofies. He carried some speed. And he will now go side by side next to Victor De Kock. Helicam we go. Victor De Kock will have the inside line, but Louis Visser, car length ahead, will then secure himself for the inside run. But will De Kock have more speed to carry? He's tapped the back of Visser. Visser managing to keep it on the track. De Kock keeps it on the track as well. No gain, no pain. No one gained the position. De Kock did not benefit.
There was
at
definitely
the moment,
contact.
most definitely contact, but De Kock had a great exit, and just did not estimate that Visser's bad exits had really cost him so much speed. So unfortunately they did tap, but luckily it didn't cost anyone a position and it didn't cost the race. De Kock dropped back a little bit.
Absmeyer has dropped behind Albertine, feeling that Lexus is a bit more of a handful in the hot conditions than we expected. Just in the last lap and a half, Jason has he's been unstable through corners. There you can see again. The rear
drifting.
is just not following the front properly.
Not at all.
No, they're definitely thinking different ideas though.
The hot race temperature has definitely heated up something here today. And Albertine, he's looking comfortable in that Aston Martin. So he's now the second amateur race boy on the podium. At this point, Kleb in second, Albertine in third. And Visser, he's going to be hustling on to Jason. I mean, everybody that's come up behind him has managed to get on by. Obviously, with the hassles that he's going through with the car, it's going to benefit all the drivers down the order. And Visser now going to close in on Jason once more. Definitely not a place that Absmeyer has been before. We've seen him been quite dominant on the in previous races, and right now not
There's
managing
an interesting
to find
fight for you if you jump to Noor Hendricks. The Ferrari Porsche affair with Richie, Hendricks and Malotho.
Let's go.
Hendricks might actually have
there.
the gap on Richie here going towards Eau Rouge.
Oh, it's going to be who's going to pull out first. Richie doesn't have the line. He's going to tuck behind on Hendricks. Hendricks going to tuck on through. Malotho, he's going to be benefiting. Hendricks going to go wide on through. He's going to, I don't know if he lifted through, but he's going to definitely be losing. He's going to go 3 wide down Kemmel if they can, but it's not going to be Richie going to be opening up any space either. It is going to be that Ferrari motoring down. The Porsches will go side by side. Who will come out on top? They both, all three go pretty deep through. Malotho actually doing the best on exit now. It will be Malotho next to Richie, and it will be Malotho taking Richie on the exit. So we see a little change in order. Richie drops down to 10th, Malotho into 9th, and the big winner, Hendricks, 8th place there. I mean, did he lose the place or was he under attack?
He actually...
Did he jump?
Richie being
Did
the
he
big
jump
loser.
3? Yeah, Richie lost.
Richie lost 2.
Yeah, okay. So Noah Hendricks jumped up Richie, and we see this often when you see 3-car battles. Definitely in the RLM series, it's as soon as there's 3 cars fighting it out, that car at the back seems to find something. Richie, he's not done with Malotto just yet. Malotto trying to hold off as best he can. Let's jump on to a rear Wang Gang photo cam of the back of Malotto's Nicki Minaj flavored Porsche as we look at the front end of the Senna Racing Grey Ritchie number. What number is Grey Ritchie? Number 12?
Richie's car 12. Lotto. No. There you go.
This is brave. This is brave. This is very brave. They are going to pull alongside each other again. And Richie, he doesn't quite have the line. He goes wide. He gives it to Malotto, but will carry some speed through. Who's going to brake later for bus stop? Malotto needs to just defend as much as he can. Of course, he's doing a great job at the moment, holding Grey Ritchie at bay. Beautiful bit of driving coming out from Malotto for KK Racing as he fends off Grey Ritchie, who arguably seems a little bit quicker.
Further down the field, Joubert just got past JK Minnar for 11th. Minnar's also been farming backwards for the last lap or 2. Lost out to De Vet and now to Joubert.
Well, it does seem like DeVet's having a little bit of trouble with that Bentley as well. He's been struggling.
They're going to go. I mean, they're going to go side. They're going to go side by side here up to a Rouge. Look at this. There's going to be 3 cars coming into this. A little bit of brakes coming out from DeVet, which means that Minnar can benefit highly off this. That slingshot of the aero advantage tucked up behind the back of the Bentley. Minnar going to pull alongside if he can, but not being able to. DeVet going to kind of weave himself, put himself in the middle of the track. Around the outside, Minar's going to go. Will try and get himself back round for the inside line, but the vet going to hold it and squiggly out the exit. Lawrence going to now be preying on the back of that Nicki Minaj Porsche from Minnar.
Strauss has now got a move going on Lawrence after Lawrence had a bit of difficulty.
Yeah, Lawrence kind of had that exit behind Minnar. So right now it's it really is just a fighting game. You see that Lamborghini, one of the only on the field, now chasing down the back of Lawrence here. Let's jump on board with it for a little bit. Let's go and see.
Has been catching this group for the last 4 or so laps. He had the first lap incidents, and since then he's been clawing back to get to these guys. So I suspect in the next lap or 2, Cornet might just be past these guys.
And you know what? Minnar is acting like a little bit of a cork here at the moment as Lawrence getting slowed down. But Minnar trying to put his Porsche on the inside line as much as possible. He's gone very wide. He's closed the door again on Lawrence, not allowing him to have a look-see on any of those opportunities. Let's go and see with Lawrence here. You can go and watch a cockpit view. You can see that Strauss just all over that wing mirror. He's going to lift coming out very wide from Minnar on the exit. I don't think it's exceeding track limits at this point. Down to bus stop.
Just behind this fight as well.
Oh,
he's not busy bothering Strauss.
This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, this is a fantastic night.
Strauss being bothered by Buerta. Of course, these two had that little... no, it wasn't Buerta's fault, but he actually hit into Strauss, who caused him to come out wide after the tap with Grey Ritchie.
So wide through T1.
They've been trying their best to do what they can. Yeah, look at this. This is going to be the Lamborghini's opportunity down the exit of Kemmel. Just needs to hold on to the back through Eau Rouge and Radion now. And Buerta also getting a nice little run coming through. I'm not quite sure if the Lambo...
Buerta's the winner, yeah.
Buerta did have a great slingshot off the back. It wasn't a great exit from Cornet. But look at him go. He is just getting the rundown at the moment. Down Kemmel wants to go on the inside. Doesn't quite have the line next to Lawrence. Lawrence will still survive. But Cornet Strauss, he's going to have to slot himself back just a little bit. Let me pull up some name tags again for everybody. I do forget that some people do enjoy having those on the screen. So let's pull those up again.
By the looks of things, we could also see Gray Ritchie. He's reeling in Hendricks little bit by little bit because I think that Ferrari might also be giving him a bit of trouble here.
You are right, Ritchie is getting quite close to the back of Noah Hendricks at the moment.
Feels now what will be 6 laps in 15 minutes of racing. Everyone's starting to spread out just a little bit.
We've got one or two little battles forming here and there.
We've got
nothing.
the Vet and Joubert are quite close to each other.
Yeah.
JK Minard, Sean Lawrence.
Minot and Lawrence,
Fight's still going.
They're not stopping out here. I mean, I'd love to get some other angles. Is Lawrence going to have the inside here? He's going to have a little look-see. That Porsche still going to close the door. And Lawrence getting himself closer and closer. Soon Minard cannot leave that door open like he's doing. Buerta again. Look at the run that he's had. Onto Lawrence. They're going to go side by side. Buerta going to secure the inside line. What a run coming out from from Buerta there. He's got the move done. Can he make it a double whammy? He's trying to have a little look-see on the inside of that Porsche. He's going to be forced round the outside at the moment to bus stop. Doesn't really manage to make it happen there.
Vet going to the pits.
And that is the vet pitting.
Absmeyer
First
as well.
pit.
No, Absmeyer is also in the pits currently at the moment, but I think he's stationary. I think this might be a retirement actually.
Not managing to... I can't see it.
He's only done 4 laps of the race.
Oh,
He
Lawrence
must
has
have
made a
retired.
mistake. Lawrence has made a big mistake. Strauss has been allowed through, so Strauss is going to make his way up. He's now got Buerta ahead of him to try and contend with Minard. He's going to be the next victim for Stark Buerta here. We saw this happen earlier. And now, side by side, once again, down Kemmel, they will go. Explodey bug from ACC coming out as Buerta's got the move done well before the end of the straight. That Aston Martin looking hella fast on the straights and definitely coming out of the slipstream. Minard going to try and hold on as much as he can, but we know that Buerta's fast. He was knocked down the order and will now be facing against drivers that are not quite in his time bracket. Again, put out by an earlier incident. So, unfortunate occurrence there. Let's run through the whole grid order as it stands at the moment. Our leader, Bruno Cadill, not getting much screen time at all, but of course leading our race at the moment. He's on his 7th lap, about to come around into his 8th lap. Yeah, he's got a bigger gap, 7 seconds to Etienne Kleb. And
As we said though, Etienne's got his own 6.1 second gap back to Albertine.
They do, and Albertine in 3rd will then lead 2 seconds over Louis Visser in 4th, with Victor de Kock just behind him in 5th place. Christos Besson holds down 6th. 7th, Tebo Malotto, great drive coming out from the Kaikai driver in the Porsche. Noah Hendricks in 8th. Gray Ritchie in 9th place, also just behind the back of Noah Hendricks. You see him in the same shot. Vanna Joubert rounds up the top 10. Then we've got Stark Buerta in 11th, of course, showing insane pace. Make sure to watch him towards the end of the race. Minard struggling a little bit with pace at the moment in 12th place, but had some good battles, good defensive maneuvers. Strauss, unfortunately, a race plagued with some unfortunalities, in 13th place at the moment, looking to make up more. Sean Lawrence, 14th place, also not really seeming to have a great mid-sector of the race. Hopefully can find something towards the end. Vivian Richards will be in 15th. Stefan de Vet, will be in 16th. He's also gone into the pits a little bit out of order at the moment. Diego Paulo will round things up in 16th place. So our Lonely Nissan at the moment still just lapping on round, doing its thing. Possibility to make up some positions if there's more retirements.
Well, on that note, busy waiting to hear potentially back from Jason Absmeyer as to why he was forced to suffer a retirement. Would love to hear back as to... he was definitely one of my favorites for this race, considering how he performed last week.
I have a sneaky suspicion people underestimated how hot the day is going to become. And I think a lot of guys have tire pressure set for more ideal situations, which won't necessarily work on a day like today.
I mean, track temperature right now is 41 degrees. So yeah, you definitely. I think that is catching people out.
I mean,
that
if you look at it,
adds
it's
my
only it's 32 degrees. There's no clouds. So the lack of clouds, obviously the midday sun, all of those
sorry,
contributing
Stark Buerta is making a move on
factors.
Van Joubert as we speak. He is caught him in the last, less than a lap. Stark Buerta having a fantastic race after that first lap incident.
All right, so I heard back from the man in the pits. He unfortunately has suffered a technical issue between his wheels and his pedals, only registering a certain percentage, up to only about 90%. He's not actually getting that full throttle out of his car, apparently. So
sounds like a steering rack damage.
Yeah, potentially.
So yeah, we see Joubert being
Joubert.
hunted by Buerta in that Aston Martin. For now, gonna hold him off as they go down through bus stop. Of course, the final corner.
Fisser in the pits, it seems. No, Fisser also retirement.
It looks like it, yeah.
So I would like to just follow these two drivers just a little bit and see if we...
They are the closest battle on track at the moment.
This is where we generally see...
Fantastic race.
This is also where we see Buerta shine at the most. So I just want to see where... I mean, he's coming like 3 car lengths behind Joubert. He's very stable. Look at Joubert. He's lost speed. And now it will be side by side. We can go jump on here just to watch him breeze on by on the side. And goodbye, sir. I'm happy to see you.
Is so good through Eau Rouge. Like every time we see him go through there, it's flat, it's solid. There's no funny slippy slides happening.
It is really someone to take some notes of. That Aston Martin being set up perfectly, having the perfect balance of aero. Of course, you see how much top end it has. It's not like it's set to just be downforcey AF to go through that scary set of corners. It's still got the top end at the end of Kemmel. So great driving from Buerta. He's now closing down on Richie as well. I mean, what kind of speed does this man have? He's going to go on the inside.
Richie had a bit of an incident coming through the previous corner. Tail stepped out.
His car's murdered. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, he had a bit of a not so fast moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so Buerta is obviously then gonna get on by with passing Grey Ritchie. Joubert potentially now can do the same thing. I mean, if Ritchie was looking so slow at that point in the race, Joubert can definitely capitalize off that. So possibly a long pit stop coming out from Grey Ritchie as well if he chooses to repair that damaged Porsche. It does look like it does require a little bit of TLC.
Shout out to Mr. Buerta, who after the first lap incident he was second last, I believe. Right. And he's now gotten himself all the way up into 8th.
So you see Joubert getting the work done as well there on the screen.
He's putting in faster laps than Hendricks, so I'm sure Buerta is going to catch Hendricks for 7th before the end of this race though.
I mean, it doesn't shock me. Like we said, we saw where...
Grey Ritchie in the pits.
We saw where things had started off. For Buerta. He was put out of position. And most definitely a lot of space to be made up at this point. And if he continues with this pace, of course he can change his tyres out. So he really can drive the absolute tread off these ones. Go throw a new set on, and it will be Louis Fisser also. Is that Louis Fisser in the pits, or is he actually
he's also a retiree.
Yeah, he's by the looks of things, he is a complete disconnect, as he's not showing that he's still in the game.
Yeah. No, it shows as he's disconnected. That's a bit of a pity. Christos Besson and Victor de Kock, I mean, these two have been fighting as well. It would be great to go and watch a little bit of this for a little bit.
Besson just got past de Kock. Just past Radion, Rouge, I believe.
Yeah, so now de Kock going to be trying to...
The worst part of the race usually where everyone's spread out, like the pit stops haven't started affecting the race yet. Tires are still... Well, you're not at the end of the race where everything's on a knife edge.
Yeah. Well, it's quite an undercut from Grey Ritchie here. He's still stationary in the pits. Looks like he's taking on potentially a bit of fuel.
Yeah, he probably had damage. I mean,
True.
His car looked very unstable when Puerta caught up to him.
On that note, though, do you think Buerta potentially, because of that, like a little bit of position suffering he had earlier, do you think he's suffering a little bit of damage as well, but just driving through it?
If he's got damage, it's not like terminal in any sense. He's in his car. If you look at him, he's not unstable like other guys are. He's not running wide through Blanchimont. He's going flat through Eau Rouge. So I don't think there's damage for him to worry about.
So Bruno Cadhill has just passed Gray Ritchie coming out of the pits, so that's our first lapping of the race as well.
Cadhill be doing 2:20.1 as his fastest lap.
Etienne Kleb in the pits.
He's
Shout out
just
for our sub there as well. I didn't see the on-screen notification
got a
on my end.
drive-through.
He did. He just got himself a drive-through.
must have been speeding down that almighty pit lane. Richie has pulled off the track.
Or he's been
I think
disconnected.
I think he has retired
Potentially
himself.
Rage quits out of the
Yeah.
drive-through received. So Gray Ritchie is out of the runnings. That's obviously going to benefit the guys that continue to drive around. Cadhill will still lead things away. That battle between Besson and Victor de Kock has obviously dropped down, with de Kock being in the pits at the moment. And yeah, this is kind of 32 minutes into the race. This is where we start to see things change up. And of course, it's where, people start to pit. So potential undercuts, overcut situations, potentially people messing up their pit strategies. I've seen someone go in and elect to change brakes before.
Now that's a long pit stop, hey. Wow.
To give you an idea how long this pit lane is, Kleb went in second place. He's coming out in 12th place, possibly 13th. No, well, 12th for now. So a pit stop costs you 10 positions at this point.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's still kind of lapping around at the same on the same lap at the moment. No one having been lapped yet. Bruno Cadhill going to be the man to go into the pits. So 32 minutes in. He's got 20 seconds on Franco Albertine at this point. So let's see, obviously, where Albertine comes out or comes through. He's now coming
Albertine
through
just
the
going
bus
into
stop.
bus stop.
Is he going to
The
stay out?
Albertine
He
will
is.
take the lead, but I mean it's just a placeholder lead for now.
I mean,
Not done his pit stop yet, so he'll possibly still fall back behind Kleb by the time he does his pit stop.
oh, for sure. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of potentials, and Albertine obviously electing to stay out, taking away the undercut opportunity from any of his rivals that were close behind him. Really, Victor might have been the only one, but he was quite far away to be really undercutting Cadhill. So Cadhill just going to be taking that opportunity away from Albertine, with Albertine really having a choice in the matter. So Cadhill going to get his pit stop done. He's going to start his exit to the pits. Of course, Albertine going to hold down that temporary first position, which means that Malorto is going to also jump himself up. He's elected to stay out too, so he'll be holding down a temporary second place for Kake Racing in his Porsche. Again, also needing to pit. You can just see how many cars have gone into the pits though. Pretty much half the grid that hadn't gone in has gone in. So Cadhill's in the pits coming out, Besson's in the pits, Hendricks in the pits, Lawrence in the pits, Joubert in the pits. So things are going to definitely change up here with so many people pitting at the same sort of time and pitting out of sequence, not really everybody in a line. Kind of gone, every second driver decided, they made a mutual agreement, we'll pit at the same time. Then the other drivers have a turn. Maybe change up some things for the commentators.
We are pretty much at halfway, and every week we say, why don't the guys pit at 30 minutes? And here, almost the entire field jumps in for a 30-minute pit.
I can tell you why, straight off the bat. The 42
hot tires.
degree track temperature means the tires are already feeling a lot more worn out, and not wanting to risk it and get the maximum benefit of the next set is probably the way that some of them want to go. Strauss, he stayed out. So he will hold down a temporary 5th place. Good drive coming out from Strauss as well. Of course, things will change after the pits, but I just note that did have some incidents earlier and has kept it on track and tracking around quite beautifully. It's now going to be a battle between Strauss and Minar. I mean, this is an on-track battle for
into the
position,
pits.
even if things change up. So Albertine goes into the pits. He stayed out for 1 lap extra, it seemed. But the on-track battle that we will be able to see will be Minar and Strauss. I mean, they both on the same sort of strategy. Neither of them has gone into the pits. Will be interesting to see if they elect to play pit strategy games with one another. They both, at the moment, have that opportunity to make the call. They're coming down towards the bus stop now.
Strauss also might have some damage still, so his pit stop might potentially take a few seconds longer than Minar's.
He might not even elect to change it at this point. You know, if he's driven it around this long and kept it kind of neat and tidy, it's going to be okay. So we get to crown a new race leader temporarily, and a man that we haven't got to talk about taking a race lead, right? So Tebo Maloto, he gets to wear the crown for a... Does he get to wear the crown for a little bit? He does.
He gets to touch
The timing sheet's not going to indicate it just yet. Now they will when you see his number board flashing again. Maloto, number 1. You will take it. Of course, staying out a little bit longer in the pit stops has afforded him that temporary glory up at the front. Things will change up when all the pit stops are done.
That once he led a race at Spa.
He led a race at Spa, and they will have to believe him. He's got screenshots to prove it there. The number board doing just that. And you know what? I'm being a bit biased because I do love a Porsche, and seeing it be just the lead car at Spa. It's actually a 1-2 for KK Racing. They've definitely planned this for a photo shoot that they've got lined up later. They want to have that number 1-2 spot somewhere. Staying out a little bit longer, trying to extend the stint. Can work out if you extend it to the point where you've actually benefited from staying out and not lost enough time. It really can work in your favor. But it's all a balancing game for now. Strauss, he will hold down a temporary 3rd place. The KK Racing with a 1-2-3 really. I'm not sure if Strauss is driving a KK Lamborghini or a EKZ Lamborghini at this point. I know that if it's an EKZ one, our Richard will go crazy.
Yep.
But we know we can call it I mean, it's not the same colors as the KK Racing Porsches. It's not the same car either. So I would say it's probably the EKZ Lamborghini at this point.
I'm going to go with that.
Place. So I'll just give you a little glory there before it gets yiked away when all of these guys go into the pits. Starting with Tebo Maloto. He will be the man to pit. And let's see if his teammate does the same thing. They could be on the same strategies. And nope. Menard decides he wants to stay out. He wants a bit of taste of the glory as Cornet goes into the pits. And this could be a bit of a gamble, really, for Menard staying out even longer than everybody else. Let's see if he manages to keep his times consistent. But he will be crowned. Again, we get to do this again for another Porsche. It is the same color, and it's my favorite opposing number, car number 96. If you read it on your head, then you just really win. So going to a Rouge Radio, a number 1 position for KK Racing. And it will change up.
And another holdout, Vivian Richards, also not making his pit. He's also one of the only people now to not have pitted.
And I mean, Richards has been at the back for a long portion of the race and really just driven through. That Aston does really just sip on the fuel, like lightly, like with a little small sippy cup, like just sippers on it, and really doesn't chow through it too much. So. On the other end of that Menard's Porsche, that thing is thirsty, does use a lot of fuel. So a bit of a balancing game coming out at Spa. But everybody out of order for the minute. It will be Cadiel to resume the lead when these guys have all finished up with their pits, of course, holding down 3rd place and just chomping his way through any cars in his way, back markers or mid-packers alike. Fighting his way back to where he needs to be. And of course, with the pit stops coming in, Menard and Richards will most likely be going into the pits at the end of this lap. I would not expect a gamble coming out from the youngster driver Menard, but I could be wrong, could be trying to push it and could stay out as long as possible and see if he can benefit. Going very wide on the exit there, didn't lift either. Will have gained himself a track warning penalty.
Malotto has actually had a brilliant time through the pit stops. He's now in 5th, but
Or
with
sixth place.
sixth, with Minar and Richard still having to pit, he could move himself possibly 5th, 4th after all of the pit stops.
Yeah, 4th place definitely on the cards there for Malotto.
Is that Minar going into the pits?
It is
Menard's
Menard
in.
going in. Richards is going
Let's
to
see.
still be a little bit off of where his choice will come in. A couple more
I'll keep an
corners
eye on
to
him.
do. As
Do you think he'll
Menard
go for
goes
the
in.
pit stop or he'll go for the I
The
lead
glory
race?
lap. I think you'll go
Which
for
one
the
would
pit
you go
stop.
for, George?
I would go for the I lead the race. You've started at the back. You've got nothing to lose. You stay out one more lap.
In he
and
goes.
No, damn. No glory.
Not
coming out for
interested in the
Richards.
glory.
Well, you know what? He still got talked about. He still played us. So, really, Richards coming out on top. So, Menard comes to a stop in his pit box. And this will allow our race leader, Bruno Cadiel, to take over his rightful place at the front of the order once again. The Silverback Racing AMG rolls around for the start of the descent down the hill once more as they do their lap. What are they on? Lap 15 at the moment? Lap 15, 23 minutes remain of racing. And our pit stops are pretty much all done, bar Menard and Richards getting out, and hopefully without speeding and picking up a drive-through penalty. It's been a clean set of pit stops, except for Richie.
This is going to be a close exit between Minar and Lotto. I think. I predict. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it's going to be close.
Well, I mean, let's see if
There's
Menard
Malotto.
comes out in front of Malotto. He elected to stay out a little bit longer as
No, that's
Malotto
Malotto
comes
gone
roaring
fast.
past him. As
That's
the
going to be a
Porsche
4th
screams.
place for Malotto, gents.
Yeah, it's that is actually quite a significant jump from where he was earlier on. He had a solid time in the pits.
Super
Got
race
Basson
coming
2
up.
seconds down the road from him, who's also been putting in some stellar times. I'm happy to see Malotto within a whisker of podiums.
Within a whisker, indeed. Of course, going to have Basson on his tail shortly. But for now, doing great things and holding up a great banner for those brightly colored Porsches for Kai Racing.
We've
Kai
got another
KKR.
Victor de Kock, Stark Buerta. De Kock's been catching Buerta for, I always say for about the last lap, but that's about how long I keep my eyes on guys. But yeah, de Kock has been reeling in Buerta ever since the pit stops. Buerta's car
coming-
just not the same after these fresh tires.
Coming into the worst right-hander in the world off camber. Just hates. Oh, Victor, big mistakes being made. He saved it. He's drifting. He's back on track. And Victor
He's
de
got
Kock with
Minnow
big
coming
mistakes.
behind him now.
And Menard going to be carrying a lot of speed. Victor is definitely going to be under fire from the attack of Menard in a... Well, it could be. I mean, he might have managed to somehow... I mean, he did magically save that Audi from touching the wall on the exit. And the inside. I'm not quite sure how he did all of that. Victor de Kock, a bit of a Superman in that Audi at that stage. And keeping things on track and staying ahead of Menard. Of course, he lost his position onto the back of Buerta there. If we go to the Headicam, we might be able to just see, when you can't see the car you were chasing right behind in the Headicam view, you know that it's gone bad. So you can see Menard behind him. We can't see Buerta up in front of him. So definitely not working out for de Kock at that time. Back
Yeah,
to Malotto here. Let's just see where he comes through with Basson behind. 2.1 seconds gap, I read, at the moment between
They were
Malotto and
2.2
Basson.
the last time they went through Eau Rouge. So nothing given, nothing taken between these two for one more lap.
Guys being very liberal with the track limits coming through a Rouge. Lots of cutting there.
It can
I'd
be
see
quite
some-
can be quite lenient, to be honest. But if it does yoink you, it yoinks you. It can give you a straight drive through without any warnings. If it feels that you are being abusive, I've had that happen as well. So at the end of pit stops, we can rerun through our order and just, refresh everybody with where things stand. Bruno Cadiel, first place. Second place, Etienne Kleb. Third place, Franco Albertine. Fourth place, Tsebo Maloto. Fifth place, Christos Besson. Sixth place, Noah Hendricks. Seventh place, Stark Buerta. Eighth place, Victor de Kock. Ninth place, J.K. Menard. 10th place, Corne Strauss. Stefan de Vet, 11th. Sean Lawrence in 12th, Vivian Richards in 13th, Vanna Joubert in 14th, and Thiago Paulo in 15th place at the moment. So still lapping around, still looking strong. Nissan representative.
The Cock is back on the rear of Buerta, where he found the pace, but he has managed to get himself right to a fighting position again.
So we ride on board with Victor de Kock as they come back to the chicane, where of course you just want to manage that throttle. You can hear it being dabbled on and off by Victor there, trying to find the earliest point where he can get onto the accelerator. Did have a nice exit compared to Stark Buerta, but doesn't have a way round. Gonna have to lift again. That's gonna compromise him before they come down, of course, to Blanchimont. The slipstream is there. Victor de Kock is in it. And Stark Buerta just holding down the middle of the racetrack. Going to run wide for the inside apex. Victor, does he stick it? He kind of lifted it before. He's geared down. Wasn't quite sure of what gear he wanted to be in there. Coming down to bus stop. Now both of the cars carrying good speed through there. Stark Buerta definitely carrying a little bit more. Victor a little bit squiggly on the exit. And will continue the fight for another lap. These two
Both
gentlemen.
these guys are catching Noor Hendricks in that red Ferrari you see up front.
Yeah, but again, keeping my eyes on Noah Hendricks, he's been stepping out a little bit. I definitely think he's struggling with the track temperatures at the moment.
I sincerely think a lot of drivers did not anticipate the weather for today. Like, everyone's afraid of rain and forgets that a cold day or a too hot a day ruin your car as well.
Yeah. Well, track temperature's still at 42 degrees, so it's definitely settling there, and tires are not going to be happy.
They have really closed up to Noor Hendricks in the last few corners.
This is also allowing Minard to slowly catch up to them as well.
So Hendricks in the red Ferrari. We've got Buerta in the red, the white and blue Aston Martin, and the black and green Audi would be Victor de Kock, and in the background the candy-coloured Porsche would be J.K. Menard in this battle. And these are all for position, nobody being lapped, and everything to play for. And it looks like de Kock again going to be closing down onto the back of Buerta. It looks like Hendricks through this sector feels a little bit more comfortable. He does manage to squeeze out a little bit of space before again the slipstream effect kind of comes into its own, and he doesn't seem as comfortable through this chicane as the Aston Martin or the Audi. You see him having to like kind of re-brake again towards the end of the exit to try and get his nose of the car turning back in. Struggling a little bit with some of the exits as well. Not quite sure what it is. Like you said, could just be down to things like the extreme heat and the temperature of the tires. But for now, this battle continues out as it is. And Hendricks going to give himself a little bit of space again as Buerta comes under. So Buerta having to defend against de Kock is going to benefit Hendricks in the long run, because Hendricks is obviously going to try and get a little bit of a run away as soon as Buerta has to get defensive. But if there's no pressure coming on from de Kock, definitely got the pace from Buerta to get onto the back of Hendricks. So it's kind of like at this stage of the game where de Kock's position, this Audi, is going to benefit Hendricks in that red Ferrari up at the front of this battle. And who will win will be Menard, because if these two drivers do have more pace and have to slow down, it will allow him to get back onto the back of them, and we do start to see him closing down into shot lap after lap. They are, I mean, how many lap minutes do we have remaining here? 15 minutes left of racing. And really, really close stuff for the closing sections of the race.
7 laps if we're lucky.
Oh, Stock
this
Butcher
the
looks
run?
like he's gonna,
Yep,
yeah, he's gonna make a
Butcher.
move on the
He's
outside.
going to
It's
try on the
around the
outside.
outside.
Round the outside. He's going to set himself up. He's going to try. But great defending coming in from Hendricks. Putting that Ferrari in the right place. And this has opened things up for De Kock all over the back of Stark Buerta right now. And greater exit coming out from Buerta and Aston Martin. He's managed to save himself a little bit of the attack from Victor De Kock there. And these guys are giving us a great little bit of driving for us to get excited about. And any tiny mistake, we saw, of course, coming up through Kemmel, Hendricks had made something, the run coming out from Buerta, but just great bit of
Excuse
defensive
me,
move.
Vivian Richards just had a huge off through the Rouge. Yeah, he just lost it at the top of the hill and boned himself into a wall.
Oh, indeed. I think that's going to be his car, hey. That is colossal damage.
He's now rolling his way down Kemmel Straight on the side of the road. I think damage
I think-
might be quite terminal.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one, hey. Just an FYI, I did hear back from Louis Fisser regarding his retirement. He unfortunately did just wreck his car, chose to step out.
Buerta has gone a bit wide. That's given De Kock.
You could have been a bit more excited about my battle that we were following along here before you went over to Richards' punting off, and then you just sold down that pressure coming out from De Kock is not enough, because
Sorry, I was
now
trying to
he's going to have
see-
another look-see down
Oh,
the
he
inside of
does.
bus stop. He's going to go alongside. He's going to keep it side by side. He didn't want to dive bomb through. Doesn't have the cutback advantage, and Buerta going to make that Aston Martin as wide as possible. But great run coming out from Menard. He's going to put himself on the inside line here. Stark Buerta doesn't have this corner. Menard needs to turn in safely. He does do so. They will go side by side down the hill, and it will be a tiny little length ahead for Menard in that Porsche. Going down through a Rouge, it will be up to Buerta to tuck in, and he does. Great bit of driving coming out from Menard, but he's lost it. Big off coming out the top of Eau Rouge and Radio for Menard. He does not touch the barrier, but he does lose the position. So Buerta takes it back. Menard loses out, and that's not a nice place to lose a lot of speed. Coming through Kemmel, you're going to lose a lot of time.
This has allowed Noah Hendricks and Victor De Kock to run away a little bit, but Victor De Kock is all over the back of that Ferrari.
Around, there's no other races happening. Cadil comfortably lead by 20 seconds on Kleb, who's got a 16-second gap to Albertine, who's got his own, what is this, a 17-second gap to Malotto. Our top 4 spread out by nearly a minute.
So a second spreading them in qualifying, we see a minute spreading them now.
Oh, big mistake from Noah Hendricks. That's allowed Victor De Kock to go through effortlessly there. He didn't even need to attempt there. Great job from Noah Hendricks to avoid coming back into the circuit dangerously.
Yeah, and those are the kind of positions you want for free as a driver. Victor De Kock going to be smiling in that green Audi. Very, very happy with anyone making mistakes in front, allowing him to get some free positions. Up in front of the entire field, Bruno Cadil, pretty much uncontested at the moment. He's running away with things from Etienne Kleb in second place. We've got Franco Albertine in third. So the amateur race boys in second and third at the moment. Sebo Malotto definitely having a drive of the day so far, with an honorable mention at least. We saw his teammates getting very untidy through that same sequence of corners. This time around, Malotto looking much more comfortable, and I'm not quite sure if he's got the pace to catch up to Albertine, who really has had insane legs. The top 3 have really been quite impressive with their pace overall. Malotto, a great bit of driving though, we have to say. Hopefully he can catch up. There might be mistakes, there might not be. Down the order just a little bit, we've got Who does this? Corne Strauss is what I wanted to click on. There we go. So Corne Strauss in 10th position, holding up a top 10. A little bit of inside info. Not happy with the Lamborghini car choices that he's kind of picked up, and really struggling with it in the league. As elected not to change cars, didn't do so in the free car change period. There have been a couple of car changes in this season, which is something I want to talk about because it wasn't really set up and administered how we would have wanted to do it. So from season 2, those kind of car change things, drivers will be forced to stay into it. We had evaluation series. We wanted guys to kind of commit to cars early on, and it didn't quite work out. And at the same time, we still wanted people to still have fun and still be able to drive in the league that they had paid an entry fee for. So if they wanted to change the car, let them change the car here. When we go to season 2, we can get things a little bit more serious. We've learned some things. It's a learning series for us at Dominus Gaming, and had a good time really to talk about Dominus. www.dominusgaming.com, the event organizer for this entire series. If you guys want to go and sign up to any sim racing game, that's the place to go. We've got a GT Sports VMC, is that the word, Richard?
It is the word.
Au fait with those kind of things, but there's a whole bunch of cool stuff for the console guys there. Obviously, the ACC league is still in progress, but if we do some special events, they'll be registered through there. Dominus Gaming Discord, the place that you want to hang out if you are wanting to sort of follow along with some sim racing stuff and things. Definitely go and check out Dominus Gaming, because that's where everything happens. If you're just wanting to do some casual racing with real life drivers, in terms of not AI, not actual real life drivers. Sometimes we get real life drivers joining us, but Monday Night Racing is the place to find us there. Spandex Cobra is the main mana on that side of things. If you guys do want to join up there, join us on Discord, Monday Night Racing. The link should be available in the chat if Gaz can just drop those out. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so. That's pretty much where I update my stuff, at ZA_GMax, at Spandex Cobra, right? And at Angelus ZA.
That's the one.
Having a quick look where our leader is on track now, you can expect 3 more laps, 4 if he puts his foot down.
So the drivers really here kind of getting tested all to their limits, right? Like, not really the on track battles that we see in the closing sectors. We kind of saw some good mid pack stuff, but after the pit stops, where I kind of thought that things with the whole order being changed up would have maybe been a little bit more mashy and kind of fun for some scrabbles, kind of didn't really work out. Guys just had insanely different varieties of pace, and where they were put in the pit stops just kind of put them out at the end of the run. So I mean, a couple of guys going up on their current best lap times with 6 minutes to go, which is always great to see. See that obviously they still have those tires gripping for them at 6 minutes in. 6 minutes left to go.
Since if I had to pose to you for driver of the day, you're only allowed to choose between Kleb, Malotto. Let's go Kleb and Malotto. Who do you pick?
I'm going to say Malotto, hands down.
How do you steal my driver and you're not even a Porsche fan, Richard?
I am a Porsche fan. I'm just very partial to the Bentley. You forget this.
I can't believe you.
Richard, you can't be a Porsche fan while sitting in a Bentley. It's just impossible.
Yeah, so I'm going to choose
yet
Malotto as my driver of the day, which means that Richard will choose Kleb, because that's broadcast etiquette.
Richard gets De Vet. That's just how it works.
Okay,
Fine, De Vet, you and I can be dirty Bentley drivers together. These two can hate.
So
I believe you call it not drivers, but you steer a ship, I believe.
pilots.
Yes, pilots.
Ship pilots or something. No, that's the boat. That's the pilot boat.
I don't know, but on tracks like this, you just kind of give it a heading, you put your foot flat, and you just go.
Navigate by the stars.
I mean, I wanna say Malotto. I also wanna just give Kleb some time there. Props to Kleb, a driver that I have publicly said I wish could do better in races. I know that he has more potential in him, and this is more a place that I'm used to seeing his name. So from the bottom of my G Maximus Prime heart, Kleb, very chuffed to see you in the second place when you do listen back here. Hopefully hanging on to that towards the end of the race. Of course, nothing is forgiven or nothing is for certain at Spa. One corner over, so
Yeah.
let's just not put the commentator's curse out there. Let's not jinx it up. But great drive coming out from Kleb. Same with Albertine, really, really good drive as well.
I'm impressed with the anti-race boys folk today. Like, all of them have had solid races. And never mind Kleb and Albertine, even Berta, who might have fallen back a little bit now, up to 5 minutes ago, he was fighting for some serious positions.
I mean,
Speaking of, he
and-
has more. Sorry, G.
No, you go.
Well, speaking of Starkwater, he's clawing himself back up to Noah Hendricks here after the little bit of trouble we saw him have. So he is definitely still pushing.
From my side, I just wanted to say, the anti-race boys sometimes have a bit of a reputation for being a little bit aggressive on track, and really just a great display of driving coming out from them here, and solid bit of racing, and that's what I like to see. Is fair, honest, clean racing, and it makes for a great stream for all of us. And these two guys for anti-race have really been good representatives of that. So just publicly out there, I've had complaints for things before, and really just chuffed to see a good bit of driving. This is without seeing any incidents, no stewards reviews. Things could change up, but as of right now, that is my opinion. And
We can't even say, but it was an easy track to drive on, because, I mean, come on, we're at Spa. One of the hardest tracks to keep a good race going.
that's most definitely one of the harder tracks to keep a good race going. Gadiel with a great race so far. His best lap so far in the race has been a 2:20.181, which is just absolutely blistering compared to the next fastest lap, which was a 2:21.2. So, a
This is going
2:20.5
to
from
be-
Victor de Kock.
Our final lap, I believe.
It should be 2:10.
Looking from the timings.
Yeah, he's going to cross
Yeah,
the line now.
unless he does a 2:17, this is going to be our last lap.
Yeah, no, you're right. So, Bruno Cadiol, probably for the final time, which allows me to also just do my favorite camera, because it doesn't always work out. But if we do it at the end of the stream, then it's okay. So there we go. We can get a beautiful shot of the Silverback Racing number 86 here from Bruno Cadiol, coming towards the end of Camel.
Oh, that livery looks.
Oh, it looks good there.
Starkwater has managed to close his gap down to now under a second. You could see
We'll
him
keep
move
an
from
eye on that for you,
I will.
G.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any big lunges for the last lap unless Berta can get a hurry up on Hendricks.
Well, you never know with how we've been seeing him struggle with that Ferrari. We might just find him. Oh, well, here we are entering bus stop, so this is going to be it. He's either going to make his move here or nothing.
He's still got a whole lap to go after
Apologies, he does. My apologies, he does. So he's got a lap to now just sit behind him and hope for his Ferrari to maybe make a mistake.
this. I see old George drone piloting the hell out of the stream at the moment.
Yeah, I know. That's some piloting skills right there.
Some
Obviously,
FPV
the world's
up in
fastest
there.
drone. Not doing the flips and stuff that they do in the drift side of things, but just catching a little bit of the light. You see a little bit of the dirt on the front of the car. Obviously, being picked up from driving all around. It's just quite a nice attention level to detail, and a great, beautiful drive coming out from Bruno overall. I mean, really can't fault what he's done here. He's kind of run away with things from the start and really deserved the race win here overall. Coming down to bus stop for the final time here as Bruno Cadiol comes through the chicane. Great bit of driving from the Silverback Racing Porsche. Flashes his lights and goes over the line. Bruno Cadiol takes the victory at Spa. Let me try and get back to our regular camera angles so that we can catch the rest of the field coming through. Etienne Kleb, he's going to be our second place finisher. He's still got a couple of corners left to go. Of course, coming down to bus stop now. And Etienne Kleb, has he run out of
Well
fuel?
deserved second. Hope not. Well deserved second place though. Well driven.
Okay, he just got on the gas a little bit late there, made me panic. But Franco Albertine will then come across for third place.
All of our favorite fourth place, I guess.
Yep.
By saying all of us, I'm excluding Richard.
Yeah, I
Richard
figured
can't have this.
as much.
Sebo Maloto, what a drive. Fourth place for KK Racing. I'm going to get excited for him. That's a top 5 finish for the man in the purple and blue / bright yellow Lumo Porsche. Fantastic finish for them. Going down to 5th, it will be Christos Besson flashing his lights over the line for 5th. Then we got Victor de Kock coming across the line in 6th. Noah Hendricks coming through the bus stop now. That shimmery, shiny red Ferrari will cross the line in 7th. Then we got Stark Buerta just behind in 8th place. JK Manar also not far behind them, coming in 9th. So top 10 finish there for Manar. Great finish for him too. Cornet Strauss, great finish for him. We haven't seen him finish many races. In 10th place for the man in the Lamborghini. Not an easy car to pilot around, and tips hat to Cornet Strauss. Stefan Buerta, Richards Bentley will come around the 008. Bentley will cross the line, and a couple of positions obviously being changed as drivers have left the field. But obviously,
Sean Lawrence coming through for 10th.
Yeah, Lawrence.
Joubert now for 12th. And then somebody we didn't actually cut to the whole race. He's been fluttering along at the back by himself, getting out of people's way. Our Mozambican connection, Mr. Tiago.
Yeah, Mr. Master. So is GTR looking a little bit beat up, but you know, that happens. That happens.
In the chats, people did thank him for getting out of the way during blue flags. So all those dents on the GTR must be self-inflicted.
Okay, so I mean, we've got some possible interviews coming through, right? From the
I can tell you that
Discord side.
Bruno won't be able to come this after this race. He said he will definitely join us for an interview after the.
Okay, so I think we've got Etienne Kleb that I can bring in.
Ooh, can we get Maloto?
I would like to get Maloto for sure. If we can get Maloto, that would be great. If we can get Kleb, that would be great. You guys can just join the pre-race or the post-race drivers channel. What is it called? Interviews. So I'm back. What's up, guys? I have a sleeping puppy doggo on my lap. She enjoyed the racing as well. I don't see us having too many people here for an interview at the moment. Nobody's sitting in the interview queue. This is a bit disappointing, right? Maybe
I can drag them across, can't I? Drag an Etienne for you.
We got an
No, he just jumped out.
No, they've gone to different channels, so they might not want to come for an interview. So maybe we get some driver interviews next week. Oh, there we go. We've got
Maloto here.
yeah, Sebo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Tsebo is here. Okay, so Tsebo Maloto finished 4th place, guys. KK Racing, Tsebo Maloto in his Nicki Minaj Porsche. How was Spa, Tsebo?
Yes, bro. Nerve-wracking, but I'm very chuffed. I can't believe it. I mean, I did well at one of the tracks that I'm very confident in. So yeah, I'm hella impressed.
I was gonna say I happen to know that you do enjoy that track, and it's nice to see that you had a great finish there. Can you give us a little bit of insight to some of the track conditions? How were they?
Well, the track was actually pretty good. I didn't struggle with any type of grip or anything like that. The Porsche obviously is sort of slow in the straights, but yeah, I made it count through the corners and kept consistent. And must thank everyone for good racing. I mean, through the bunches that I was in, it was good. And I had some nice battles with Richards before he went off, and that was pretty good. And Hendricks as well. That was quite nice. But other than that, it was just empty.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, Spa does have that sort of potential to just kind of have these big open spaces. The pit stops can kind of spread people up quite heavily, and then suddenly you find yourself with a bunch of cars. But from our
Yeah.
side, I mean, it looked like you had a great race. You timed your pit stop right, and yeah, we just want to thank you for coming through for a post-race interview, and a massive congrats on 4th place.
Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone else again. Me too.
Congrats, man.
Okay, so I think we might. I mean, do we have an Etienne? Is Etienne is he? Available?
No, that it looks
don't
like
see it.
is all the
All the
big names
potential-
have left, unfortunately.
Okay, so all the potential interviewees have left. Hopefully, we'll get some more drivers in here to give a little bit of insight next week. Do you guys know where we go next week?
Sorry, say again?
Do you know where we go next week?
I can tell you in 2 seconds. Let me just pull up the
We go
screen
to
here.
Nürburgring next week, and I believe that it is. What is the weather at Nürburgring next week? Chance of rain. Ooh, medium chance of rain at Nürburgring next week. So definitely tune in next week, Wednesday. If you guys haven't already, go and join the Dominus Gaming Discord. That's, of course, where all of our racing stuff takes place. Monday night racing, if you want to do some casual Monday racing. We've obviously got more lobbies up during this lockdown period as well. Automobilista 2. We're talking about doing some drifting stuff. A lot of casual fun racing and just kind of building the community. There's also the Metal State 9 hour in association with Raceface. That's coming up, I think, in a week's time or 2 weeks'
6
time.
hour.
6 hours, 6 hours.
No,
Sorry.
Sunday in 2 weeks' time.
Sunday in 2 weeks' time. I don't believe that that's being streamed, but should be a good race. And hopefully there's going to be people obviously streaming their points of views. Those things will all be shared into the media channel. We do have Etienne Kleb in the interview queue. I don't know if you can see him there. Can you drag him in?
Okay. He's in.
Hello, Etienne.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, thanks, and you. Thanks for joining us. We thought we may have mistimed things there, but Etienne, great race coming out from you. I said it on the stream. Happy for me to see you finishing in a place that you should be finishing. How was your race?
Yeah, it was good. I saw Asma in front of me struggling a bit. I thought, okay, let me give him a challenge, and that's what I did. And then I managed to get past him and actually pull out the gap. And then, yeah, couldn't keep up with that. AMG is just a...
Yeah, Cadiel just seemed to have things dialed in that Merc. When it came to sort of track temperature, I asked Sebo how he found the track. How did you find it?
It was cooking my tires. I was near the end of the race. I was sliding all over the place. Yeah, the tires were orange all around, and yeah, it was a struggle on temps. And I opened my brake ducts as much as I could.
As race organizers, we do like to hear that there is a little bit of a challenge thrown in. I mean, it was a clear weather race. Temperatures were set to like 28 degrees, but obviously with no clouds, it just cooked it out. And at midday, all those cars driving around, I was expecting it to get quite hot. You could see things looking a little bit slippery. And in terms of your pit strategy, did you fill up before the race started, or did you take fuel in your pit stop?
I took on another 55 liters on my pit stop. So it's 50-50 that I threw in, 50-55.
Okay. And then obviously did the tire change. And in terms of your tires, did you adapt the tire pressures for the second set that you put on, or do you think that your first set that you had set up ran a little bit cooler than the second set because of the tire pressures not maybe being corrected, mid race?
I did lower the PSIs on the tires, but however, it didn't make any difference. It still cooked at the end of the race. So yeah, I think it was just one of those cooking tracks. Your tires couldn't cope.
Yeah, I think the conditions there definitely push guys to the limit. Well, Anyway, Etienne, thanks for popping in. Thanks for racing, of course, and congrats on your finish there. Looking forward to next week, and hopefully you'll be able to join us again from a similar position.
Most definitely. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.
Cheers,
Cheers,
bud.
man.
Congrats.
Okay, so that now concludes everybody's driver interviews, and we will be back next week at Nürburgring. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Eddie and Richard, you basically have like 10 seconds to plug your things while I run across the room to end the stream. Thanks, everybody,
Join
for
us at
tuning in.
MNR. Thank you very much, George.
Let's start.
Can I take up more of Richard's time? How much of his time can I take up?